here cooking my dinner. It's kind of late, but I have had a late start to the day for the past 2 days. But I actually wanted to come on here and talk about what's going on. I just want to talk about what's going on. And just offer my own tidbits of advice. I mean, yesterday was Earth Day. Great day, beautiful day. It was quite a journey and a wild ride for me, because I ended up having a full-on, like, major anxiety attack, panic attack. But I also feel like it was low-key, like an initiation or like a trial. Like, I feel like it was a bit of a test that Spirit was putting me through and my ancestors, and not even a test, but more so like a speed up. You know, when you can go through something and you know that it'll help you learn something really fast, even if it's gonna be like pretty horrible at first, but you just decide to go through it because you're like, you know what, ultimately this will be helpful. I feel like that's what Spirit saw with this experience for me, and so that's exactly what I went through. But anyways, the point being that I just wanted to add to the conversation and talk about what I'm noticing about our lovely, lovely planet right now, and what I'm looking forward to and what I've got planned. I mean, the first thing that I've come to terms with is that, like, I don't believe that we are at war. I don't believe we're at war anymore. I don't think that's a real thing. I think that that is an old narrative that has been propelled because a lot of people still need to remember how precious their faith is and how priceless it is, and how basically your faith is what creates your life down here. It's what you believe in. And faith is not, faith is a gift. And it's something that you are constantly receiving and returning and giving. It is the ultimate act of balance. And right now, what I think everyone should be focused on is not even how to maintain faith, because that creates the narrative in your head that it can be lost. And that's just like saying that this is spiritual and this isn't, when it's not possible that anything is not spiritual, because spirituality, this spiritual is just life, like everything is spirit. From my perspective, you might have a different perspective, but that's how it works in my world. And it works for me because I stay protected and I stay safe and I feel protected and I feel safe and I feel motivated to live a life that takes care of me and nurtures me ultimately. And where I'm noticing is the big next step for me is really standing strong in what I believe in and not allowing that to be compromised by what is being projected out into the world, what narratives are being projected out into the world. And I don't mean this I mean this in the way, even in the spiritual community. Like, I'm sure that there are some people who are in the timeline where we are at a spiritual war and we are battling it out, and it is like the dukes are up, you know, final call, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not in that timeline, and I don't think you need to be there. We've had many, many eras of fighting wars on this planet, of being warriors. We've had many, many, many eras of that. And it's because the life of a warrior is very attractive. It makes you feel alive. Because the fight to survive, to live, is an essential part of the creation process. So, of course, to have that energy in the world, in your world, close to your home base of your beliefs, is powerful and striking, so much so that it will get you to engage. Getting the people to engage in war actually is not, it's actually something that is desired by systems that are not going to serve you right now. And the reason for that is because it's just repeating a timeline, right? Many of us who are here have already been warriors. Many of us who are here have already done the time in that realm of being the fighter, of going to war. Look at where we are on the planet right now in our history. Of course, there are still many, many wars being fought and blah, 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 blah. But to be honest, we're at a time when it's actually quite peaceful. And I know that that's going to sound strange to some people, but it's what I believe. I don't feel super stressed out unless I'm watching like a sci-fi movie or a current events movie, something that is created based off of media around the future and AI or climate change, and is obviously very negative. And so I've chosen to not put my beliefs in what has already been designed. There are so many sci-fi movies, so many future movies, so many apocalyptic movies, and most of the narratives are always negative. You know, it's always that the robots are coming to kill us or take over our lives, and the government is this and the planet is that, and all of this, all of that, and it's hopeless, and all that we can hope for is to just, survive, and that's it. And it's just like, logically, I'm looking at the human experience and where we've evolved from the times when we were giving crudes energy and living in caves and having to battle off lions and tigers and bears, and just like we've evolved to a state that is quite incredible. And a lot of the perceptions and the storylines that are being pushed by media are super barbaric. And they're trying to push you into an ancient timeline and make you believe that it's actually the future. And that's why that whole narrative that, history always comes back around, you always repeat the past, blah, 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 blah. It's only true to a certain point. It's only true to the point that you want to believe it is. But you can always go further. You don't have to remain in the thought process or the system of belief that you started in or that you journeyed into. You can choose to leave. You can change your beliefs. And I don't just mean that when it comes to, you can change your beliefs for everything and anything. Like right now on the planet, it is like the whole liberal versus rightist or moderate or whatever the fuck. It's all stupid and it's too much. And I think that a lot of liberals are in a weird place where I'm not even sure they really know what they believe. And that's because really we're supposed to be moving into a world where your beliefs are not based off of a system that's constructed by a few people who tell you what's best. You move into a world of trusting your own gut, of trusting your own instincts. But you have to believe that your gut is worthy of telling you how to live this life. You have to believe that you know how to be in this world and live in this world. You don't need to follow a system of instruction on what are the best beliefs, what is most ethical, what is blah 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 blah. Like, it's way too much, and we're at the point where there's fear around openly admitting that your beliefs have changed, and that's a big fear. I've found, me and my sister talk about it all the time. That's a huge fear right now that is kind of crippling the liberal community. The people who identify as liberal, who I'm not sure really know who they are at all. And the right people, whoever they are, it's just like, even they're confused. Everybody's confused. And sticking to all of these identities that were only meant to be here as a portal to get us somewhere else. But you don't need to stick there. You can change your beliefs. You can have thought one thing about vaccines during the pandemic, and then after seeing the way that people who didn't get the vaccine were treated and isolated and basically made to feel like they were trash, you could change your beliefs. Like, you don't have to stick to it, guns blazing. It doesn't make you flaky. It doesn't mean that you don't have a backbone. All of those things are just narratives that they use to keep you stuck. And it's true, and I only know this because I've gone through my own experiences of feeling like I can't change the way that I can't make a new decision because I already said this, or I already had decided this. And that's so stupid. It's so stupid, and it makes life so much more complicated than it is. Life is actually quite simple. But it doesn't feel that way because we're not living in a timeline where life is allowed to be simple. Like, they put all this attention on the meaning of life and blah, 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 to make it all feel so inaccessible and so scary and so intimidating. And reality is that it's just about what you believe in. Now, we are in a frequency where changing your beliefs it takes some work, because no matter what, we live in the 3D. When you're down here on this planet and you're actually participating in life, you are in the 3D. Now, there's nothing wrong with the 3D, but it is a different energy. So yeah, you might have it might take a little bit more grit when it comes to changing certain beliefs. You might have to really practice a little bit. You might have to exercise your spiritual muscles and really get engaged with what you think and what you feel. So that you can begin to be in control of your beliefs and not have your beliefs be controlled by pre-established systems. The point is that we're breaking out of systems and deciding to move from our own center. You move from your own center. I've been doing these classes that are similar to yoga, that take the practices or the foundations of yoga. And there's a lot around moving from your center. And it's huge, and it's very freeing once you find the permission that you have to give that permission. You have to give yourself permission. But once you give yourself permission to do that, the world just kind of opens up. And it opens up in a scary way, and it opens up in a very liberating way. It's not always going to be super easy, because choosing to live your own life and choosing to have the balls enough to decide that you deserve to be happy and you deserve to live in balance with the world and you deserve to be a caretaker of the world, because it's actually such a gift to get to be a guardian of this planet. It's such a gift to get to take care of this planet, because it's like the gift of being a parent. Anyone who knows what it is to have the desire to be a parent and then not be able to have that wish come true understands what a blessing being able to be a parent, to be a caretaker is. And right here on this planet, one of the main things we get to do, and really one of the only things that, we really should even ever have to focus on, is caring for this world and being this world's nurturer. The same way that she nurtures us, we nurture her. That's what it's all about for me right now, and trying to find ways to implement that in my life looks like me trying to follow my dreams and me trying to break out of systems of belief that just don't serve me, and questioning everything that I believe, to the point where I become very fluid and grounded only in the belief that spirit is true and spirit is real and spirit is protecting me and keeping me safe and guiding me through this life. That is where I'm at right now. But I wanted to share because I feel like we're in an interesting space where it's easy to get caught up and feel like you're alone, or feel like your back's against the wall, like you're really fighting, especially in the spiritual community. Like there's a lot of narrative around like a war that's happening. And I'm sure from some gaze there is, but you don't have to be a part of that. You don't have to participate. And that is not being it's not being, what's it called, like, removed, because ultimately when you're choosing to live from your truth, from your heart, then you're going to make decisions in this life that feed into your heart, that feed into love of self, love of community, love of the planet, love of the world, love of the universe, love of all. Those decisions will lead naturally to revolutions, but those revolutions can look very different from the way that a revolution has looked before, because it doesn't always have to be knuck if you buck. It doesn't have to be that. It's just that that's what we've been told, and some of us are super traumatized to the point where we're ready to fight. I understand that, because there are many ways in which I would like to go to war at some point. I would like to, not like, literally, but I would like to fight, because, like, there's so much energy and there's so much anger and there's so much resentment for all that you hold yourself back from doing. We hold a lot in as the people. We don't do a lot that we could do, and that's what's constantly the craziest part, is that it's always us holding our power back and then being made to feel, and then feeling like on our own, but because of the systems that we're engaged with, that we are powerless. And it's so frustrating. It's super, super frustrating to witness and to be a victim of at many, many points. But we've got to keep moving. And where I'm at, I'm just like, I'm not choosing to believe in any storyline, any path, any narrative that is going to make me feel like there is no hope. Because hope is the most powerful thing. Hope, faith, belief, all that. It's the most powerful thing. It is what you should utilize more and protect more than anything. Protect your hope. Do not let yourself identify as a pessimist. Do not allow yourself to be, the nihilist who doesn't think anything ever matters. Like, there was a period where that was super important and that was necessary. There was a period where, there's such grace in that belief system. And all of that. But what we need on earth right now is hope. We need faith. We need people who believe something different is going to occur. We need people who are willing to dream, even if they don't know where their dreams are leading them, even if they're not sure of themselves, even if they're being told by everybody else that they sound crazy and that they sound like they're living in a la-la land, even if they're being told by everybody else that they are immature and they need to get real and they need to get down with the revolution and blah, 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 blah. Don't let anybody tell you what to do, okay? Don't even let me tell you what to do. But if there's a part of you that comes from a loving place that resonates at all with this, then consider what that part of you wants to hear. And then go talk to them about it. Don't, take my word for it, but speak to that part of yourself. But the point is, no one can tell you how to fight this, how to live this experience. No one can tell you what's right for you. You already know what's right for you. You already know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. It's probably quite simple. Some people are going to live a timeline where they are fighting it out, where they are battling, where they are at war, where they are, and that feeds their soul and that nourishes their soul. And that's exactly what they need to experience in this life. That's not everybody. For some people, it really is giving Armageddon energy. It's like the world is falling apart, the blah, 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 the borders are down, everybody's dying. Like, it's like a zombie apocalypse. Like, for some people, that will be the energy of their lifetime. On this same planet, where for other people, they'll be having a blast. They'll be living in peace. They'll be having a great time getting to be with Earth, getting to live in their truth, getting to honor this planet and honor life, the act of living. And it won't be like, what's it called? Attack of the zombies, attack of the AI. It won't be like that. Now, there are sacrifices that we all have to make. We all have to be united in understanding that what's not working for Earth, what she's already shown to us as not being good for her, what the animals, what the plants, what the trees, what the creatures, what everybody has already shown to not be good for them anymore, we've all got to admit that, okay, so things are going to have to be given up, right? Like my sister was saying, convenience, it's going to go. We're not going to be eating every fruit every single day that we want, that no matter the season. We're not going to be getting to travel here and there every single other day and go do this and go do that. We can't live wherever we want to spend, and you get to live like, you know, the richest person in a third world country and take advantage of the fact that their currency is lower. Like, you know, exploitation is not how we're going to get there. So if that's where your path is leading you, if it's leading you down a path of exploitation, then you have to start to question what's going to need to change. You know, we're all going to have to make sacrifices. A more humble life is definitely going to have to be lived. But it's not going to be bad. It's not going to be bad. Like, get that narrative out your head that this is going to be, like, suffering, and it's going to be some struggle, but struggle is a part of life. There's going to be suffering, but it really depends on how you take it. You know, like, you will experience suffering, but you are going to experience that regardless. Overall, though, the energy of your life can be encouraging. It can be empowering if you let it. If you let it. But you gotta let that happen. Are all of these cooked? This is cooked. That's almost cooked. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know if I have much more to say beyond that. I mean, just there's sacrifices that we're all going to have to make. But you don't have to fight a war if you don't want to. You know what I mean? Like, the only war that you need to fight is the belief that your beliefs are controlled by other people. You're in charge. And there's so many layers to that. And it's very scary, because being in charge opens the world up in a way that it's like, well, I appreciated the convenience of being dumb. But at the end of the day, we're moving towards a place on this planet because the planet needs it, because of the place that she's at. We're in the death realm. We're going into the rebirth realm at some point. I don't know if it'll be during my lifetime or not, or any of our lifetimes or not. But on the other side is a new existence. You don't die and get reborn and go backwards. You're going forwards. So we're going to another level of existence as a planet. And you choose what you want to do with that energy. You're trying to go with the earth, or you're trying to stay with the old way. You're trying to stay with the ancestor. The ancestor's like, girl, go ahead. I'm in my own business. I've got things to do. I've got things to think about on my own. I don't have time to take care of you and make you feel safe and nurture you. Go on with the new level. Go up and figure out what's happening up ahead. And y'all need to take that and run with it. And I'm only speaking to you like this because I don't want to see a single one of us get left in a position that was just unnecessary. Like, let's just go. Let's go. Let's figure it out. We can do it together. We can support each other. The sacrifices will need to be made, but it doesn't have to look like what all the movies and all the books say. They're just theorists. They're just predictors. They're oracles of a certain timeline. You don't have to be involved in that timeline. Create what you want. Do what you want to do. And when you're doing what you want to do from the heart, you're going to find that, oh, wow, a lot of people want to do that too. It's not a shock that literally the videos of, like, people building houses in the woods and, like, people doing a simpler life and people, like, in the countryside. We all love that content. Everybody loves it. Everybody finds it calming. Everybody wants that. So this narrative that, like, that's, like, a really, like, weird way of living that, like, only certain people get, and, like, everybody would love a tiny home. Everybody would love to live in the van life. Everybody would love to live in nature. Everybody would love to eat, you know, and look at the trees and the sun every day. Like, everyone would like that. So get it out your head that that's a special thing that only you want, and, like, that makes you different and like a fairy. Everyone wants that. It's just that not everybody feels like they are worthy of following their heart. And there's a lot of space that needs to be reclaimed in terms of people being able to actually take the steps to follow their heart, to be on their path in a way that truly moves them forward and isn't just spinning them in a circle. But we're not special. We're earth beings. We're all here on earth living an earth being experience. Of course, we all love nature. Of course, we'd all love to be living that lifestyle. So those people are not like, you should not, don't idolize and don't put it in this exclusive thing where it's like, oh, those people in society, but I'm like the true like nature girl. Like, shut the hell up. And sorry, I don't know why I'm speaking with such vigor, but maybe because it's annoying, because it makes people feel it's just an unnecessary added hierarchy that we try to create with like morals and ethics. And we don't need to do that. We really don't need to do that. Like, yes, you're special, yes, you're an individual, and your special cute life in the woods is unique to you, but also that's a very common dream, because we're earth beings, we're mammals. Of course we would all love to be able to live like that. That's the goal, you know? So, and that looks differently for everybody, but that's not a unique dream. And that's something that should be accessible to us all, and is, but we need to have the space. We need to have the space. So that's what we're working towards. But I think I'm done, so I'll stop ranting now. Bye.